if they carved a door on the ceiling.
There's gotta be a door on the floor, too.
Yeah, someone help me rock.
Wait, we are in the bottom of the catacombs. There's nothing below the cellar.
This is the floor, then where is all that water going?
The French catacombs are an untapped horror goldmine. Paris used to have a severe problem with their cemeteries overflowing with dead people. In 1774, there was a series of collapses in the St. Innocent cemeteries just owing to the amount of bodies that were packed into it. And after 1780, burials were banned altogether. They needed to find somewhere to stuff new corpses. The result was to utilise the more than 200 miles of stone quarries underneath Paris and turn them into ossuaries. Over the years it's been modernised and revamped to the point it looks like a goth's wet dream. There's around 6 million bodies inside, with the bones being built into these crazy walls and displays. There's a ton of urban legends surrounding it, and even real reports of people who ventured in, got lost and died in the maze of tunnels. Lost in the dark before their bodies were discovered 10 years later. People often sneak in. It's essentially a museum today, but people still are only allowed into a small piece of the full mausoleum. The creepiest thing I ever found was this infamous unresolved video from the 90s of a guy panicking while lost in them.
And all of a sudden,
despite its haunted reputation, I can think of only 2 movies that have ever utilised it. One was Catacombs, a 2007 movie that I rented from Blockbuster on a slow weekend and starred Pink of all people. It's a pretty below average effort, but it is boosted by being filmed in the catacombs itself. Then, in 2014, there was another one, As Above, So Below. What a kick-ass title for a film, it's darkly inspired. The marketing for this movie got me super hyped. Yeah, it was found footage at a time when they were really starting to grate, but it had a sweet setup and the posters promised something really unique and creepy.
Hello?
The film follows a scholar on the hunt for the famed Philosopher's Stone. She's following in her father's footsteps from the work he left, tracking relics that hint to its location and eventually discovering it's underneath Paris. How will they get 370 feet underneath Paris to get it? You guessed it, the catacombs. Only when they get there, they instead find the supposed gateway to hell. The camera here isn't just for show. For instance, she's under a strict time limit, and instead of taking photos or sketches of an important find, she just scans the thing on video and then she can decipher it later. Maybe there's something she misses in the moment that she'll notice replaying the video. It's not a gimmick, it's intelligent thought. It does a great job feeling real, everyone has acted well. Scarlett is like a real-world Lara Croft without the guns and fighting. She's driven, but reckless and gets in over her head. Her ex George is just like her, but more nervous and reserved. Pappy is a cocky douche, but he's resourceful and knows the catacombs. And then the rest, I'll be honest, are just kinda there.
I don't even know who you are.
The movie does its job at feeling claustrophobic. It's cramped, and the group's panic as they get lost heightens more and more realistically. One of the best scenes for me was when one of them becomes trapped between a mass pile of bones and a cave ceiling. If you're someone who hates tight spaces, then this scene will get to you.
Just calm down, okay? Just breathe with me, please. It's okay.
Scarlet Guard, you gotta get out of the way. Alright, just get out of the way. Just get out of the fucking way.
You're gonna have to move back a tiny bit,
No,
please.
I can't move back. Just go forward.
Just a tiny
Go forward.
I enjoyed the adventure part of it. It's like a horror Indiana Jones as they have to track down this stone, then solve various puzzles and discover more and more. It's exciting as you learn about history and unravel the mystery, with some daring, suspenseful trials on the way there. However, even for a found footage movie, a genre which isn't exactly known for breakneck pacing, this is a slow build. It takes 40 minutes to get to some surreal sequences and a full hour before they even get to the entrance of hell. And the film is only 85 minutes long, not including credits. While it is intriguing, the characters don't really react to all the scariness that believably. As I say, they're acted well, but not in these moments. If you found a phone with your dead dad's voice on it, wouldn't you be freaking the fuck out? Here, it's like, oh, that was strange. Oh well, moving on. The things that do happen are barely scary to begin with, so when the characters fail to react to it, it makes it all the less threatening.
I'm coming down.
Come on, George, keep coming.
Hold on, I'm stuck.
I'm a little torn between whether they should have just left out the supernatural elements before the crawl into the deepest part of the tomb. If they did, it might have made for a more laboured experience while making the last third more intense, but here, it's like they had the journey to get the stone, then they just threw a bunch of spooky stuff on the way there to prevent them losing the audience. Honestly, I think if they just made a more tightly paced, crazy Tomb Raider-esque adventure with more fleshed out characters for the first 2/3 and cut out all the forced early supernatural elements, then had the surprise journey through hell for the third act, it would have been a far superior film. Then, we actually get to hell. And I still remember the letdown I felt when I saw this in the cinema. It doesn't feel like anywhere special. Full spoilers, but they just wander the same section of cave they've already been travelling for the whole movie all over again, but in reverse with pretty uncreative scenarios. There's nothing wrong with going for a dark cave like hell, but I feel like they could have done a ton more here. It's just not very imaginative or interesting. We saw a piano early on in the catacombs from a character from when he was younger, so seeing a car isn't exactly mind-blowing when this is meant to be the big climax. We also hear this deep, blaring horn throughout, and I thought it was hinting at some sinister demon shit or a grand finale, but it leads nowhere. It feels held back from its true potential, and for lack of a better word, it's kinda lame. I was pretty shocked by how much I didn't enjoy this film upon rewatching it. It starts out with promise, and there's aspects I like, but the execution is a little too tame, and it lacks the balls or creativity to go all out. Beyond one or two tense moments and a great setup, As Above So Below is below average.